Hello everyone. Today, before I get started with the video, I just wanted to say that I'm going to take a break for a little while. I'm not sure how long, but I've just been working so hard on these miniatures and things that I've been letting a lot of other projects and housework get ahead of me. So I just wanted to let you know that I won't be doing a video for a while, because again, I've been needing to do a lot of other things. So I just wanted to stick this in here because I forgot to mention that at the end of my last clip. So I'm just sticking it in here now just to let y'all know. But anyway, let's get on to the video so you can see what I've done for this week. Hello everyone. Today we are back with Beauty and the Beast, and I know you're probably thinking, when's he gonna get back to that Grandpa Munster? But I am just on a kick because I'm sitting here getting these last few videos you've watched done kind of in a week. So I've been just kind of going with the flow this week. So I have pretty much all the house itself done. So I got to start getting to working on these little characters. I'm going to make all the characters you see here: Mrs. Potts, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Chip, and whoever she is. I know she's the little feather duster, but I'm just not sure what her name is. I'm going to have to figure that out within this video. So let's start with Lumiere. I had these little candelabras, and I had two of these for my Munster project, but I decided to go ahead and use one for him. Uh, I thought I was going to make this from scratch instead of using one of these, but then I thought this looks so much like him, I can't not do it. So I've went ahead and opened one, and I've cut these little parts off that I don't need, like that extra pair of arms, because you can see there's four together. So I took two of them off, and we're down to this. And so that's what I've got for him so far. And then I've even cut off these little, kind of cut them off as close as I could get them, these little pieces that were sticking up. Uh, if you see that little gold piece, there was some on here, and I tried to snip those off because I made these candles, out of clay, and they're kind of going to fit there and take the place of that little gold piece. So okay, now I'm kind of looking at what I got laid out. I've already kind of got parts cut out and laid out. And then one more thing about Lumiere real quick is this is a straw, I mean, as you can see, and that's what I'm going to use as the candle. Well, maybe I thought I was going to, oh yeah, uh yeah, wait, what am I doing? I think I'm going to have to snip this gold piece off also. So I will have to take these pliers and snip that off, actually. So let me do that. His head will be a straw, because, you know, the two little hand candles can be clay, but the head's going to have to be a straw so that I can get the wire up in there, and then it can kind of be luminous and kind of glow when that little light's in there. So that's what I'll do for that. Now Cogsworth, the little clock there, I've made a back. I've just kind of cut out the shape that I want, and I've cut me out some little strips of this same board. This is a poster board, and I'm just going to kind of real delicately glue that right around the edge. Whoops. So it's going to look kind of like that, and you kind of see the shape I'm getting. And then I'm going to have to take a piece. I could have done one continuous piece around it, but I'm going to go around it this way. And that's kind of how I'm going to get the little clock shape, if you see what I'm doing there. But then I'll get that glued around it. And then for the little feet, I've cut out a piece of foam board, and he'll sit on those little feet. Got two of those cut out here. So I've just got all these little parts together, and I've kind of got all this in my head, how it's going to come together. Now for, oh yeah, and right here actually is one of the little candles that I have made for Lumiere's hand, and I've put a little pin down in there so it'll have a hole where I can attach a wick later. So I've done made that out of clay. And that'll glue on there like that. And I got 2 of those, of course. So that's his little hand candles. And then Mrs. Potts and Chip and even the feather duster girl, they're going to be made out of this clay. And with the magic of jumping to the next clip, I've already got that done. Here is Mrs. Potts. I think she'll look a lot cuter once she's painted. And then, of course, I've got a little base for her to glue on. So there's Mrs. Potts. I mean, I didn't film that just because I just sat here and sculpted that out. Just basically made a little ball of clay and made her a little hat and her nose. And for the indentation of the mouth and the eyes, I kind of used the end of a paintbrush handle just to give me those details. And then I've put a little pin in her hat here because later that's going to get a little ball on the top of her hat. She's got like this little pink ball. So that'll be added. And then here's little Chip. He's got a little face. It's hard to tell right now. And there's his little nose, the handle. And he's got, of course, you can sort of see his little chip in there. And then there's the little base for him. I gotta get all this stuff glued together before I lose all these parts. And then this looks really, really terrible. This is going to be our little French maid feather duster chick. She's got her little bonnet here that's in 2 pieces. I'll have to glue that together. And you and I can both sit here and look at this and think, what in the heck is that? Because, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, am I going to make this look as good as I want it to be? I'm feeling confident about these characters, but when it comes to the poor old feather duster, it's like, dang, we're just going to have to trust the process on her and just see it come together, because I'm not seeing it yet. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. I'm going to glue these little pieces together, get that all glued here, and then we'll come back, check it out, and I guess start painting these little characters. Alright, so here's where I'm at with Cogsworth, and you can sort of see, I just wanted to show kind of how I'm putting it together. I just put a little glue on the edge and then just, stuck that other part to it, and it's not really that hard. I mean, it's coming together pretty good. It looks like a little baby with a bonnet right now. But then I'm going to do the same, of course, like I showed to the bottom. And then there's going to be another, like that little back plate. There's another one cut out. I'm just going to kind of glue. Actually, it's right here. This is what I've got cut out for the back plate. And I've already got his little belly cut out, where his little TikToker thing is. And then this will get, I kept all that around the edge just so I can glue it right down to that. It looks like a keyhole. But I'm going to glue it right down to that. And then once it dries, I can cut around it. And I just thought that might be a little bit easier. And there's one thing, once I get this on, I'm going to get this on here, and then I'm going to have to paint this inside brown, because once I get that painted brown, I'm not going to be able to get back into it, because I am going to put a little piece of clear plastic on here for the glass, and then I'm also going to have to go ahead and add his little TikTok, which this sounds so bizarre, but whatever that little ding, well, I don't know what it's called, the little dingling thing, the little, oh my gosh, whatever it is, that little ball that goes back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to do that and we'll look at him. All right, now here's where we are, and I've got it glued around there. I did put a little strip of that silver tape. It's hard to tell, but there's a little strip of tape going across there to help hold these 2 pieces together where the ends meet. You can sort of see it over there. And then I've really globbed up the glue down in the corners all the way around to try to hold it together better. And actually I said brown, paint the inside brown, but the inside, his little belly inside, it's purple. So I'm going to paint it purple and do the front half and glue it down get me a little piece of plastic put over that. And then once I get him put together, we will work on the little details like his arms and face and stuff. All right, so check out what I've got. Now it looks a little weird, but there's his little TikTok. I'm gonna call it a TikTok. I'd rather call it a TikTok than a ding dong or a whatever I was trying to think of earlier. Um, so there's his TikTok, and then this is gonna go right across there. And oh wow, look how cute that looks looking through there at his little TikTok. Um, but I even done two shades of purple, like up on the side, and then the back there. And it's, of course, you can tell that paint's still really wet, but that is going to look so freaking cute. Oh wow, look how cute that is. So I'm gonna let, I don't guess it matters if that dries. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down here, and then I'll cut around it, and then we'll have him pretty close to done. We'll just have to do his little arms and legs and stuff. All right, so here is how he looks glued on. I took a paintbrush and I smeared the glue around so it's just not bulky and or like globbed up around there. Um, so I did that, and again, I'll just cut out around that once it dries. But look how cute that is. Look at his little TikTok in there. Now, I didn't even mention what I used for the little gold thing. That is just some of that wrapping paper. I punched out that little hole with a just like a regular hole punch, and then I just cut a little strip of it to go upward for the other half of his TikTok. So anyway, it looks super cute. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get this one done. He's going to definitely turn out to be the cutest, I think, because he has just got so much going on. And of course, Mrs. Potts and Chip, they look freaking cute. They are just needing to be painted, so they're just waiting on a paint job. And I think I think this is going to look cuter than what it's looking right now. But once she's painted, she'll look better. And then I think just getting her hat put on there looks better. Lumiere, I know he's going to lose his head. Uh, well, nope, it's sticking on there pretty good. I ain't glued it yet or anything, but I got to figure out how to put a face on him, like a nose and stuff. So I'll, whoops, I see, I told you. But anyway, his little candles look pretty good, and his wicks look really good. That's just a little piece of wire. All right, so here we are. I've kind of got some of his decorations on there. I've just used a little piece of, let's see, that same yellow poster board. And then I've used a little toothpick right here to make that little curl that he has. And I'm to a point now to where I'm ready to paint the brown. And then, of course, there are some little decorations that are yellow. So I'm used that same yellow poster board. Whoops. And that way I won't even have to paint it. It's already yellow. That's going to be his little arms. So those will go on after I get him painted brown. And then he's got this little decoration that goes on his neck. Let me go ahead and get a little coat of this paint on there. I have a feeling this will take 2 or 3 to get that yellow covered, because I just know how painting this poster board is. All right, so I kind of did something. I kind of got him done without filming any of that. I mean, he went from the last little clip to this. Now, of course, this is the back side of him. I'm not going to show him right now, but he's so amazingly cute. But let's check out Lumiere. Now, it's been a whole weekend since I filmed that last little bit, so I'm kind of thinking, where did I leave off with Lumiere? Here we are in the ballroom. That same little strip of lights that is hooked up to everything else in the project. I poked a little hole in the wall back here, and then I ran those lights out here into the floor, and I've got them stuck up in his head. Now, again, his head is a straw that will get painted later. I've got to figure out how to make a tiny little face and like a little nose and stuff for that. But I just wrapped that light wire around his neck and kind of right up the back of his head into the straw head piece here. Let me see. Let me turn the lights on so you can sort of see that. I'm going to turn the big light off. And there he is. That's kind of how that looks right now. Let me darken the screen. So that's kind of how Lumiere is looking. Now, of course, with him being plugged up like that, he's not going to be movable. I'm going to build a piano bench, and he will sit there on the piano bench. But he looks so cute right now. And where I tore up that little candelabra, or that little candle stick holder, I went out recently and I bought this one over the weekend. So now I've got two again for the Munster project. So this Lumiere's turned out so cute, though. If you could sort of see his little wicks and stuff, which I think I did show this much of it the other day. But there's Lumiere. I'm still trying to figure out how to make the face. I'm just not sure what to use for that. Clay, if I put clay over the whole thing, I don't know. Maybe I should have just made it out of clay. I don't know. I was just trying to think of how to get it done to where it would be hollow inside, to where that bulb could be shoved up in there. That's why I just thought the straw would be easier. I'm thinking maybe the nose and stuff can be made out of clay and just glue them on there and then paint it to all match. I don't know. I'm just still thinking about that part. But then let me see where else I'm at. There's another character that I'm going to add to what we're doing. It was going to just be these two little guys, the Feather Duster and Mrs. Potts and Chip. But I've got these. This came off. What did this come off of? Something I did in Dorothy's house. I think it was like a little. Well, what's funny is this came off of another little cart, like a little tea cart that I used in Dorothy's house. But I can't remember what part this was on. It ain't really the legs of it. It was, I don't remember how this was even on that cart. But I didn't need them on that, so I had taken them off and I had saved them because I thought maybe this will come in handy. But this to me looks like the little legs to the little footstool in Beauty and the Beast. And you know, he was a dog originally and got turned into a footstool. I can't remember. I think they just call him Footstool. Like if you look up the cast for Beauty and the Beast, I don't think they gave him a name. I'm not really sure, but I'll try to post a picture here so you can see what the dog looks like, and then I'll post post a picture, another one here of how he looks turned into the footstool. But this is just so perfect. I mean, it looks like it's the right scale. Once I use these, put a little top on it, this will be the perfect little feet for that little footstool. So I'm going to make him, just cut out a little piece of foam board to make the footstool part. And then, of course, just upholster that. And I've got the perfect fabric for it. Now, here is Chip. He has got 3 coats of paint. And his mama here, Mrs. Potts, she's got 3 coats of paint. I'm still working on those layers of paint because you could sort of still see through it. I don't know why it's taking so much white paint, but here's how they're looking so far. Really all they need is that last coat of white paint, and then just paint their little eye details on there, and then paint the little colors at the bottom. But they're pretty cute so far. And then who else? Oh yes, of course, we've got, I looked this character up, the little Feather Duster. Her name is Plumette. So she's really cute. I've just got her painted gold, and I painted her hat. And I just need to probably put another layer on her, then get her little face painted. And then I got to come up with something for the plume, the feather parts down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of one at a time because I'm getting a little overwhelmed trying to get the stuff out for each character. So let me just tackle one at a time. So I looked at the picture. I think I've got everything I need here. Of course, we've got the legs. Let's check out that little dog footstool again here. And then I've got my little piece cut for the top. And I've got that cut out just a teensy bit smaller than what I want it to actually be, because we're going to cover this with a little bit of batting, which that's actually just like a short fur, almost like a felt kind of sort of stuff. And then we're going to cover it with the fabric. And then I've got this fabric here. It's got this frayed edge that looks like fringe. So that I'll cut a little strip of that to be the fringe. I think this is going to look perfect. And then I have no idea what this is. Let me try to focus here. It's got a bail on it, and this was stuck to a stick, like this was on the end of a stick, and it's got a little bail. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. I mean, I know it's something I've bought, but I don't remember why it was on a stick. But anyway, I got 2 of those. I'm going to take that little bail off, and we're going to have 2 of these, and this looks like the little gold piece that it was his little tail and whatever that other little tuft of fur was that was sticking out. So that's going to go one on the front and one on the back. And since it's kind of hollow in there, I'm going to stuff a little bit of this yellow yarn in here to make that little tuft of hair. And then I didn't have any other yarn. I had to cut this off of something that I really didn't want to cut it off of. But anyway, I went ahead and cut a little piece off of there. So that's, I got to take special care of that because I'm not cutting any more off of the thing that I cut it off of. And then we've got this little gold trim. I'm not sure where I got this from, but it's going to go on there for the trim. And I think once we get it together, it's going to look pretty much like he does in the picture. So I've got all that cut out. I've got the little trim cut out, and actually the trim's going to have to go on later. I need to upholster this first. So I've got this little piece here. Well, I thought I had it all. Now I got to find my glue. All right, so let's go ahead and just stick some glue on here, and we'll stick the fluffy stuff on first. And like I said, I think that's just a really thin, short fur. I don't even think it's upholstery stuff, but I thought it's fluffy and it'll give the look that I need, so that'll work. So I'm going to stick that on there. And whoops, oh my gosh. Okay, now I figured like I wouldn't get a lot of glue on here, so I'm gonna stick some pins in the side just to help hold it down here in a second. And then I'm gonna kind of snip these corners off so it ain't so bulky, because this is gonna be so tiny. I'm gonna need as little bulk as possible. So I'm gonna fold that down, and then this, and then that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to use glue, but I'm going to take the red fabric, and I might use a little bit of glue. I don't know. Should I use glue? I guess I might use a little bit under here. But I'm going to go ahead and use these sewing pins and just poke them. I hope they're not too long. I think they're going to be just about perfect to not go all the way through. Oh, that just, oh my gosh. Well, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I got 2 pieces of fabric. I just need one of those. Whoops. All right, so. All right, let me see. I'll get this together here in a minute. So I'm pretty much just going to go through here and pin this around. So here's where I am, and I've put a little piece on the bottom just to make it look a little cleaner and neater. And then I noticed there's like a little more of a pink colored saddle going across his back. So I've cut a little piece of this fabric where I got the fringe from, and I'm going to glue this across here. All right, now trim that off. And all right, so there's that, and it's not very perfectly even across there, but it's going to get trimmed out next. So let me go ahead and put a little bit of this across there. I'm going to go here, and then of course on the other side. All right, so there it is. Oh my gosh, that's cute. Now I can finally get that trim on. So I'm going to trim that out, And then not only do I do that, I've still got to go around again with the gold over top of this just to kind of help cap that off. And actually, I'm going to have to get that just a teensy bit uh, not so wide because it's going to be so long around it that it's going to hide the feet. So let me trim that down even thinner here. Okay, let me hold this up here a little bit. I've got that on there. And oh my gosh, look how cute he's looking. Now, I hope I have enough of this. Oh gosh, where'd it go? All right, I'm pretty sure there's enough. All right, so I'm gonna glue that around next just to finish it off a little bit. All right, I got me some watermelon. Okay, so I've got that around there, and the glue looks kind of cruddy, but of course that glue will dry clear. I accidentally got some there, which I don't love, but it's okay. He'll just look a little worn, but that is looking so cute. I can't wait to get the uh, legs on it. But I'm gonna keep that on there just to hold it kind of like this. But that's looking pretty good. I'm just so excited about it. Now let me see. I kind of wasn't going to do this character, and then I thought, well, I'm a dog lover. I got to do the little dog character. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these little things, again, just stick some glue in there and punch that in there with a toothpick, and then I'll trim that up a little bit. And then I'm going to punch a hole in here with an ice pick, and then it's got that little ball here on the end. That little ball will go in the hole, and that's what will hold that on there. Put one on the front and the back, and then of course glue it to the legs. But I'm going to let that dry up a little bit. We'll come back to that, and let's go ahead and start another character. All right, well actually, let me see. I'm going to do one of these for you. I just put the glue in there, lay that right here like this, and then take the toothpick, and let's see. I guarantee you this is going to not be as smooth as the last one, just because I'm doing it on camera. The other one poked right down in there. So perfect. Of course, this one's got glue on it, of course. But that's okay, it'll dry clear. But that's all I'm going to do. Pretty easy. And again, like I said, this one's going to have some glue in it. But there's that little tuft of hair, his little tail. And that is so cute. So I've got that done. I've got the other one done. I better pick that up before it glues to that cardboard. Let's lay it right there. But there's his little tail. And I think the other one was supposed to be like a little mustache, because if you look at him in dog form, he's got like a little, you know, dogs, a lot of them have little fuzzy little muzzles. So anyways, we'll check him out after I get him done. I'm just going to glue him to his legs, trim that little thing off, and put those on it. So who do we need to do next? Let's get back Plumette. All right, so holy moly, I now I've got chocolate brownie. So I went from watermelon to chocolate brownie. But oh my gosh, I have been going all over my house trying to find something to make her little black and white feathers, and I was about to lose my mind because I could not find anything. Now I do have feathers, but I don't like feathers because in time they're going to just kind of fall apart. I've seen a lot of stuff with feathers that once they get a certain age, they start to crumble and fall off. So I'm not going to use that. I did find, I mean, I was really digging through everything. I was kind of tearing everything apart, trying to find something. So I'm kind of seeing that my plan is not going to work. Okay, well, shucks. Let me see. Maybe if I cut it this way. I thought this black ribbon was going to work. I tried fur, but then I didn't have fur. What in the heck? Now, any other time I'd want this thing to fray, it would like fray. I thought this was going to fray and give me like the perfect little feathery look, but it's not going to do that. So darn, I'm back to having to go look for something. Oh wait, maybe this will work. I was just wanting to get, let's see, is it working? I think I'm gonna, I don't know. See, I thought if I could get enough of this, I could use that for her little feather thing, but I think that might work actually. Let's just try. Let me sit here and pick at this and see how much I can come up with. So I think that's going to work, and I'm going to fool with that later and work with it, but I do think that will give me the little fringy trim that looks sort of feathery. But for the white part, let me get poor little Chip out of the way before he gets knocked off and stepped on. For the white half of the feathery part, I've got this big old sheep, and I thought, I thought I need what do I have that's white, and then I remembered we've got all these little sheep in our living room, and I thought, okay, the sheep's about to get a little haircut, so we're going to take a little bit of this hair off of the sheep. So that's what I'm going to use for that. But let me just cut a little bit of that off. All right, so let's grab her up and get her some glue down here. And I've got this little book opened up. It is the white is on the bottom and then the black is on the top. I just wanted to make sure before I went through all this. And get the glue down to the bottom. I'm starting to actually get low on this giant bottle of glue that I had just bought. But, okay, so there's some glue. And then just stick that around her. That's going to look pretty good. Now, it's just going to take a little bit of fidgeting, a little bit of work. But that's going to look pretty cool, I think, I hope. And then I'll trim that up and do the black kind of the same way. So, but I'm going to, of course, go off camera because this is a nerve-wracking job. Actually, I'm just going to lay her to the side. We're going to let that dry a bit before we even fool with the black fur. So let's lay her to the side. And actually, let's do, who are we doing? Let's do Miss Potts and Chip. All right, so no, we aren't moving on to Mrs. Potts yet because I am just all over the place right at the moment. I actually had to put another coat of purple and white on them too, so they're drying, and then we'll do their faces and all their little details. Now, I did go with some Mod Podge, and I kind of painted up on this fur here to make sure it is, really glued down good. So now I'm going to take the black and try to get the black on there. Don't know how easy it's going to be to trim the black with the white on there, but the black needs to be, I think it's a little shorter than what the white is, but let's just see if I can get this looking good. But right now the white part looks pretty cute. Now I will trim it so it's not so long, but that looks pretty good. And let's see, I've got that on there. That's one layer of black. I'm going to actually do another layer, but I'm going to go ahead and trim this up a little bit. And I've got these little hair trimmers. I'm going to try to trim that up. Just want to use something really sharp. And of course, I'm doing this without the glue being dry. It's hard to cut little stuff like this. I think she's looking pretty cute. She's looking like a little fishing fly, like a little fishing tackle type of a thing, but I don't really want her looking like a fishing tackle, but she kind of is. Let's see, I gotta trim that white a little bit. I mean, she ain't perfect, but I think she's gonna be cute. And I don't want her so tall. I mean, my gosh, she's as big as Belle. But of course, she actually ain't as tall as she seems because that wire ain't actually a part of it. That wire is going to be what helps her stand up. So she's really just like that tall. She's like that. She is pretty big, I guess, but it's okay. All right, let me go ahead and put the last little bit of the black. And I'll paint her face when I do the faces on these two, this little chick and this little dude here. Now, I've got that on there, and once I get it, once the glue's dry and I trim it up a little bit, I think it's gonna look pretty cute. But I kind of really want to try to get a little piece of this gold around her waist there. I just think that kind of finishes that off, and it looks really cute. So I'm gonna sit here and try to do that. It's so tiny. I'm not sure if I can. I'm thinking maybe some super glue might hold that a little bit better. So let me see what I can do about getting some of that on there. All right, so now that Plumette is almost finished, let's go ahead and jump to Mrs. Potts. Now she's got this little sewing pin in her head, and I'm going to replace that with one of these with a little pink ball, because she's got that little pink ball on the top of her head, which I guess is her little handle to her teapot, her little teapot handle. So I'm gonna, oh gosh, let me try to get this one out of here. Oh man, I hope, oh, it's sliding right out. All right, so hopefully, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to snip that down some because that's way too long. It's gonna go all the way to the bottom. So let me find something here to trim that off. And I think, let's see. Oh my gosh, look how cute. Ah. Okay, so there's her little pink ball. Oh man, so that is so cute. Now we're going to get super fancy today. We actually are going to do some gold leaf. I've never done gold leaf, but I'm not going to actually do that now because I got these little hairs in the way from Plumette and some stuff here, so I've got to clean my surface up. But let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll do these little painting things and the gold leaf. I just don't want this big of a mess around on the workspace. So let's set everything out here. Now what we're going to gold leaf is we're going to gold leaf Chip's little handle and Mrs. Potts handle. Now when I was a kid, I used to watch people on HGTV gold leaf everything. It's like they used to gold leaf like just really everything back in the day. And I've seen so many people use it. I've never done this. I'm guessing I've got the right materials here. I mean, this is clearly gold leaf, metal leaf. It says it right there. This is the metal leaf adhesive. This says to paint it on the surface and let it dry for about 30 minutes. Is that what that really means? 30 minutes? That seems like a long time. It'll get sticky, and then you just put the gold leaf on it. And you apply this with like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it. So let me rip into this. Well, okay. Ooh. I know this is like super delicate, and I don't want to like mess it up. I mean, look how it's like crumbling already in the package. So I want to be super duper careful with this. It's like, how is this even in here? Oh wow, this is like, okay, I'm gonna have to really look at this and really do it good because I don't want to waste it. All right, so I'm going to do just what it says. I barely need any of this glue, so I'm going to just get it out of the cap here. And we are just going to paint it right onto where I want it. And I don't know if I should put it on thick. I guess not really thick, but just make sure it's a pretty good coat. I guess any of y'all sitting there watching thinking, oh, I use that all the time. It's so easy. You're making this hard and it don't need to be. I'm just kind of like, oh gosh, now it's super delicate. I mean, that is like the most delicate little stuff. You blow on it and it's like gone. So I'm going to keep it covered until I'm just ready to use it. Just making sure. I'm so excited to see how this is going to look. I wanted to paint it, and then I thought, no, let's get gold leaf. So I spent all this money just a gold leaf, the tiniest little thing that I could possibly find. All right, now it says 30 minutes, so we're gonna let it sit there 30 whole minutes, and maybe not even that much. It's not like it's a big, thick, big area, so I can't imagine such a small area taking that much time. But let's just put it there. Now let's do chip. And knowing me, I'll get carried away and like let it sit there so long it dries completely. Now, I actually think it says that it will always be tacky, like sticky, until you put the gold leaf over it. So I don't know. All right, so if you can see, that gold sheet is on an orange little piece of paper, and it says there are 25 sheets of this gold leaf in here, and I didn't believe it, but it is so thin that yes, there are layers, and I thought it was all just stuck together, and I thought, well, that's kind of crappy that it's all just stuck together. I just am now noticing that that little uh, paper is in between each layer. See, again, I've never used this, so I'm just so fascinated by this gold leaf. But I see now, you can barely see it. I don't want to like lift them all up, but you can sort of see it's several layers there. So this is just so neat. I think it's going to be kind of easy. I don't know, but it's just kind of, you just got to be super careful with it because again, it's so delicate. It just crumbles. But I'm just so excited. It's like, please hurry and dry so I can stick it on there. I'm just cannot wait to see how it's going to look. But you know, she's got a little gold trim around her hat and around the base of her teapot, and then same for Chip. He's got a little gold lip around the top and the bottom of him. So I'll do that actually, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'm just going to focus on their little handles first. All right, so let's see. Let's get bumped over here where I can get in a decent spot. Okay, now I think it ain't been exactly 30 minutes, but I think as tiny as this is, it's probably dry enough. I don't want to handle it, like touch it with my hand. I'm just gonna pick up a teensy little piece of this. I got these little tweezers. That's probably like the worst thing to pick it up with. I think I've seen people use a paintbrush. And speaking of paintbrush, I need to get one. Okay, that might be okay. And just kind of tap it around on there. Okay, so let's see. Oh my gosh, it's actually sticking to it. Okay, let's see. I need just a teensy bit more. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at it. Oh, look how pretty that is. Is this I can focus? Okay, there, that's good enough. Is it doing it? It looks like there's a little fuzz on it. Okay. Oh, I think it did it. Oh my gosh, look how cute it looks. Shouldn't that be getting knocked off of there? Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Oh, okay, let me see. That looks pretty freaking cute. Look how pretty and shiny that is. Oh my gosh, I really like that. I can't even tell. Is it all the way on it? I guess it is. I figured, like, oh, there's a little piece stuck on the white half. I think the white glue is a little bit sticky. For some reason, that white glue is just not drying the quickest. This is really odd. It still looks a little like it needs to come off more. Okay, I guess that's good. And then that little piece that's, I don't know if it shows, right there on her little backside. I can just paint over that with some white and down in there, but that looks pretty good. Oh man, look how good that looks. All right, now let's do a little chip. All right, I didn't really get enough there, but let's see. Let me get another piece. I can't believe I bought all this just for this tiny little thing. Like I said, I'm gonna have to start just randomly picking things out of my house to gold leaf to be able to use all this up. Oh my gosh, I just love that really shiny little gold effect that, paint wouldn't give me. So that looks so good. Look at his little nose. I mean, it's a little flaky. I got to get all that off of there, but that is so pretty. Look at all the little gold flakes like uh, flying around the room now. All right, that looks really cute. Maybe I should have waited. Maybe it wasn't as tacky as it needed to be. I mean, it did stick, but I just don't get why it's so many little flakes are still hanging on there. And I'm kind of glad I did something so tiny as a first thing. I don't know if that's harder to do something tiny like this or easier, but looks like I need just a little bit more, like maybe the glue didn't get all the way up in that one spot. So let me put just a teensy bit more glue, and then I'll hit that little spot right up kind of close to the lip. All right, so I've got it going. I went ahead and put a little bit on the trim of the hat and the base, and it's definitely awkward. I don't know if it's awkward because it's so tiny or if it's just because I'm doing it for the first time and not really sure what I'm doing. But you can almost lift it with the paintbrush. Sometimes you can pick it up with the paintbrush. Sometimes it don't want to do that. But it's kind of hard too because it's oh my gosh, it's so tiny. And I've discovered that as long as it's dry, like it'll dry clear, I think it's ready for the gold leaf. I don't think it's actually going to take 30 minutes to get there, to get to that point. Oh my gosh, it's like not even in focus and my hand's blocking it. But anyway, it's going on pretty good. I'm going to let it just sit here and then I'll try to get those flakes off of there better. Let me pick it up just a minute. Look how she's looking. That looks pretty cute. All right, so this is the next morning, and I've got me some tea, some sweet tea. See, here in America, in the South, we like a little tea in our sugar. And we drink out of jars. But so I was up last night. Well, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning, working on the other characters, getting their little faces painted and everything, trying to get them finished up because I was so excited working on them. I just couldn't stop. So the last one we got to finish is Lumiere. And all I'm going to do, probably off camera, is I'm going to take a straw, just like this is the actual straw I cut that piece from. And I'm going to use it as a model. And I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to just sculpt out a little nose and maybe some little cheekbones or something, and mold them onto this and then pop them off and bake them, and then I'll glue them onto this one over here. So that's what I'm going to do to finish him up, and then I'll come back and we'll paint him. And what else? Oh yeah, and there's one more little thing I got to do to Chip that I want to show me doing because it's super cute and exciting. So I can't wait to show that. I think once I get it glued on here, let me bump this up here so we can see Lumiere. And I'm going to glue this on and hope. Now see, it looks better. I mean, from that angle, it does have a nose. I don't know how well that's showing up, but let's turn that to the side. See, it's got a little nose there. I can't really drag him up closer because he's wired in there, but I think that's going to look really amazing once it's painted. But it's just sometimes things just don't look right until they all come together. So let me see here. Let me get that glued on there. Get me some glue. So here it is glued on, and it really does look good after I get it on there. It doesn't look so obscene, but let me try to get him turned to an angle and focus. See, he's got that little profile like Lumiere, but I think it looks really, really good. I just can't wait to get this painted up. Now, the little hand candles, that's the clay. That's the color of the clay, and I love that color. But I'm going to have to paint the head because it doesn't match the hands completely. You can still see part of that straw, so I'm going to have to paint it. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to match the hand or not. I may end up having to paint those too, but I really hate to do that because that looks like real wax, and I just really hate to paint that. But I'm going to see what can be done. Uh, so anyways, I just wanted to show how he looks before I get him painted. And I'm going to go off here so I can get that done, and then we'll check everything out. I think that's all we've got to do today. I'm not going to get as far as making the piano bench right now or the tea cart because I feel like there's so much going on in this video. Alright, so I'm going to try to actually paint a little bit on camera. And I'm going over this with Mod Podge. That's all this is right here. And if you look at Lumiere, in a lot of these little books that I've got, he actually looks like he's gray, like a grayish color. He ain't really white. So I'm hoping that if I take this, I don't need a real thick, heavy paint. I just need it to be enough to kind of hide that yellow stripe that's on that straw. And then I do kind of want to block out the light. I only want the light to be more at the top of the head here. So I'm hoping that if I use mostly Mod Podge, and then I'm going to go in with this little gray color, and I'm hoping that will dilute the paint and make it go on kind of thin, but thick enough to, you know, hide that light bleed that's going to come through there. And I think I need to shake my bottle of gray. Because I don't think I was getting enough paint on that. It's a really, really pale gray, and I thought maybe it would match the hands. So I don't know. Let me turn the light off. That might help me. See, I can sort of see what I'm doing better there. And then just paint over where I don't want that light showing through. But I like that gray color. And I don't mind if he's a little splotchy. That Mod Podge is going to help hold that little face. It's almost like a little mask that I put on there. So that's good. And it's that Mod Podge is helping hold that on. I think it's going to look pretty cute. I know this is like terrible videoing. You're probably thinking I can't tell much what he's doing, but I think it's looking good. Alright, now before we check out the characters done, we are going to look at this really cool display case that I got. I have bought, I don't know how many, thinking that my little dollhouse dolls would stand in them, and they've all been too short, but this one is so perfect. It's got a lot of space in it, and it's going to hold all the dolls I've made, and then even future dolls that I will be having for my projects. So, pay no attention to the really crappy job I did cleaning the glass. There's so many smudges on it, but I've got very little patience for trying to get those off. I can sit here and buff those out all day, and it seems like they're not coming off, so I don't really care. It's not too bad, and the doors are pretty clear, so it's not that bad. But anyway, here it is. Let's start putting some dolls in it and check it out. All right, so I like that it's got a mirror in the background, and hello there, I guess you can see me. Um, so what I was saying, the ones I had bought before, the shelves were too close together, and I just couldn't get anybody standing up in here. But there we've got Danny. Let's start with Hocus Pocus first. Now, Billy doesn't have a doll stand. I need to get him a stand. I'm going to lay him down. There's the book. There's Binks. There's Sarah. That little shelf is a little bit wobbly. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll have to put a little stopper under the one corner back there. But I'll arrange them better later. I'm just trying to get them in here for now. There's Ice and Jay. And his little necklace is doing something weird. Oh, there it is. There's Binks, or Thackeray. There's his sister Emily. Then Max. And look at all the space that I've got in here for them. All right, so there's Hocus Pocus. And then let's do Scooby-Doo. And I already know what I'm going to end up doing. The Snow Ghost is a little bit tall. Now, he will fit on the top shelf because he was the first one that I tried. Yeah, he'll go on the top shelf because it's a little bit taller. So I'm actually going to switch this around real quick. All right, so there's that. And there's the Scooby-Doo. Now, wait, there should be 12 ghosts. Or no, 13 ghosts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, these are pretty big. Here's 11. I'm still in love with the tar monster. Now wait, who am I missing? I know I'm missing the ape. He is actually on the wall in the house. Oh yeah, of course we've got one of everybody's favorites. It was the little 10,000 volt ghost. Now I've got a little surprise for one character. This was Captain Cutler, and he's cool. But with him being a big chunky piece like this, I would kind of like for him to be his own little character like the rest of them, so he's not glued to that base. So I found this really cool scuba diver helmet, and it's the same scale as these little characters. So I'm going to redo that character using this at some point, and that can just go to my collection and be part of my Scooby-Doo collection. And this will be the new guy for the dollhouse characters. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick that right there. We'll redo him in another video. But let's get the main group in here. And then I've got to get Scooby, which I can't remember where I put Scooby, but I'll figure it out. All right, so oh my gosh, I'm so excited to finally get these on display. You know, they have been in little boxes like this, and I just hate it. And I don't really want to keep them displayed in the house because look how amazing that looks. Because they'll get dusty, so I feel like they'll be a little bit cleaner in this. And then let me roll you down here. Hello. All right, now who's going down here? We've got Lily, uh, Naked Grandpa, uh, Naked Herman, Almost Naked Marilyn. There's Eddie, and then we got Willy Wonka, the Oompa Loompa, and Charlie. So that is that everybody so far. Now I do have that little black family. They're in a box somewhere that's going to go in the mid-century house. But anyway, let's shut the door. Now I'm going to rearrange them a little bit. I'm just kind of roughly getting them in there. But doesn't that make like the perfect little display? I am so excited, and look how pretty and colorful everybody is. And I can scrunch a little bit better and get even more in there if I need to, when I need to. But I just wanted to show this off so we could all check it out together. I just about forgot to do the last thing to Chip. Now here is what Chip looks like. Let me make sure it's focused on him. Um, so there's a scene in the movie where he kind of does this little thing and he makes all these little bubbles in his little cup. So I'm going to use these little bubble things. They're actually called iridescent bubble. It's just called bubble glass. But they look super cute, as you can see, and they're so tiny. I'm going to just cut a tiny hole here in the corner, pour a little bit of those into Chip and bubble them up around him. And then I'm going to pour a little UV resin in there to hold it all in place instead of doing glue, because I feel like glue will take forever to dry and the UV resin will be clear and pretty. So I'm going to fill him up with some bubbles and then we'll check him out. All right, so let's get a look at everybody, how they look. So I've put this little piece of paper here, just cut it, split it, and put that little wire going out the back. That's how I took the pictures, and then I just kept it there for the video so we can have a nice simple background for them. So of course this is Lumiere. I've got him lit up. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but he has turned out so cute. Now of course we'll get a better look at these in the pictures. And then here is the little Cogsworth. This what's supposed to be his little wind up thing here. I just stuck a little sequin there and kind of bent it to look like some sort of little thing. And there's what the front of him looks like. He's super cute. Now I did go with the gold leaf, and at first I just had it painted yellow, and then I went over all his gold parts with the gold leaf. So he turned out super cute. So there's those two. And then let's get in Plumette. I gotta keep going back and forth, focusing on this and then the background. But here's Plumette. Now the bottom, I had that wire sticking out, and I cut this little piece of plastic from a water bottle lid and then used a piece of museum wax to just kind of stick her down on it like a little ball of wax. So there's Plumette. She's got some, I think she's pretty cute for what she is. I mean, I wasn't completely thrilled with how I painted her, but I think she's cute. Now, the character that I didn't even think of to start with, like this never was on my original list of characters to make, but he was kind of a last minute thing. I am so glad I made this one. He's out for some reason. He's kind of my favorite one. I mean, he's just super cute. But there's the little dog, little footstool. And then we've got Miss Potts. Now, something on Cogsworth. I went around the bottom with some embroidery thread, and I kind of done the same thing with Mrs. Potts, just to kind of tie them all in together. You can see a little band of that around down there. And of course, I went around her edges with the gold leaf, got her little face painted on there. Super cute. And then last but not least, I think one of everybody's favorite characters is little Chip. And then this is how the bubbles turned out. And they're not really picking up. They're real iridescent. They've kind of got like that color that a bubble would have. But look how cute that turned out. I love, of course, the little chip in him there. And I did the same thing with the little yellow gold embroidery thread, just glued that around there. But he is so cute. I am so thrilled with how these have all turned out. Let's stick them back here. There's what they look like. And so you'll see them closer up in the pictures. I'm just so excited. I think they look so amazing. I can't wait to get the little tea cart done so they can sit on top of that. And then these two can sit on the piano bench. And then, of course, these two will sit somewhere in the floor. But I am super excited about these. I'm sure y'all will be too. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video, this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.